Hello and welcome to the Rotary Time Show, a public service program presented by Rotary District 7610, Virginia. On our programs, we speak with Rotarians and community leaders to discuss how Rotary International builds partnerships to support local, national, and world communities. I am your host, past District Governor Pat Borowski from the Rotary Club at Bailey's Crossroads, Virginia. The success of a Rotary Club is dependent upon the club president. They lead, inspire, motivate, and connect their clubs with their local communities and other communities, local and worldwide. Joining me today remotely is Rotarian Andrea Hornung, who is the current president of the Rotary Club of North Stafford, Virginia for the 2022-2023 Rotary year. Welcome, President Andrea, to the Rotary Time Show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the offer to be here today.
Oh, it's great for you to share about you, your club, and exactly what you do. But we start with, who is Andrea? Give us a little background.
Well, I am half German, half Greek, and I've been in planning for over 30 years in local government planning. And I retired from Stafford County, Virginia in 2019, pre-COVID. And I have a Master's of Planning in Urban Environmental Planning with a Bachelor's in Biology and Marine Biology. And then I also have a American Institute of Certified Planners, AICP, planning certification.
Right. Oh my goodness, that's wonderful background for Rotary, I must say. Project managers are critical. And how did you find your way to Rotary?
Well, I was in a leadership Fredericksburg class in which it's a type of program that helps leaders who are already in the marketplace, and it's not a 101. So you're collaborating with other business people in the local region. And after I graduated in 2015, I became a mentor for a couple of years. And then in about 2018, I met TJ Walding, who was becoming president of the North Stafford Rotary Club. So I joined under her since I was her mentor in 2019. And I've been with Rotary ever since. I've always wanted to give back to the community. I worked with Rappahannock United Way when we had our Day of Caring, Day of Action every year, which brought a lot of the organizations together to help the community. And I've always wanted to be in an organization, but I knew you had to know somebody in Rotary. So I happened to mentor someone in Rotary.
There you go. And what is it about Rotary that caused you not just to join, but to make the decision to stay?
Well, I enjoyed the service projects and the camaraderie of the members of the organization. And it was another type of family to join. And there was always programs that you could be working on to give back to the community. Yes. Because of being in local government for so many years, I was very close to what was going on in the community because of the planning applications and land development that I was involved in.
Right, and as we know from most Rotarians, they come from families of service, or the fields that they choose are really service to the public as well. So that's how they continue, and as I always say, that's really what we have in common as Rotarians. So tell us a little bit about the composite of your club and the characteristics of the community that you serve.
Well, Stafford County happens to be one a little bit more affluent than some other localities. They are very close to the Northern Virginia area. I actually happen to live in the locality further south in Spotsylvania, but working in the community and knowing the citizens of Stafford County, it has been basically a very enlightening to be able to give back when you've been blessed with so much and not having to struggle at any time. Mm-hmm. Plus, my parents having had a restaurant, they were also business owners in Culpeper County. So I understood the idea of working with businesses and giving back to the community, and just the camaraderie that you have with the community as well as the organization that you're a part of.
So you really do have a community with different economic levels and needs. And what does your club composite look like?
Right now, we are a small club. We began around 25 members in July, and we have about 14 members to date. We've lost certain members due to moving, job requirements, and relocation. So one of the aspects of being a president, which I actually started March 8th after CPATS, because my official term really begins July 1 for the 2023-2024 year. So we are working to increase membership as well as making sure that we have service projects every month. So since we've changed our meetings from Wednesday evening to Tuesday evening as a sunset club, which is also a reason why some people relocated to another club that is a lunchtime club, is that we have our meetings 3 times a month. The second week is the board meeting, but we have decided to make the last meeting of the month, the 4th meeting, a service project.
Oh,
and
that's great.
Several of the ones that we've been doing starting in March and even in this month is to do it right during the meeting, which since everybody is already programmed to go to the evening meeting, it's a perfect opportunity to do service projects.
That's terrific. I love that.
Thank you. In March, what we did was we packed purses for unmasked organization. I forget the lady's last name, but her first name is Crystal, a very nice lady. She has this program, and she works with Empower House, which is the domestic abuse shelter located physically in the city. And we packed purses with female items, and we packed about over 75 purses in that evening so that they can be donated to Empower Houses. So when the domestic abuse shelter has females and their children, they can leave with a purse instead of a trash bag full of items that are necessary for them to continue, because many of them sometimes are leaving with the clothes on their back.
Right, and I understand that you have some photos of a project that your club does.
Yes, ma'am. The group photo is the ending photo showing all the purses that we packed. We also are partnering with Stafford County, with the other club in Stafford County, Stafford Rotary Club, and it's called the Via Colari of Stafford.
Oh.
And we started that in 2021, and that is basically a street art painting festival where we have artists that come in and they're drawing on the pavement with chalk. And a lot of those pictures are 3D. And one of the pictures that I provided shows the drone overview of the parking lot that we used, which is a VDOT parking lot in Stafford County. And so we had squares. We measured them 2 by 2, 4 by 4, and 10 by 10. I believe there were 6 by 6 as well. And so people started drawing, and we had high school students, local artists, even some of the volunteers decided they wanted to start drawing. And a lot of them, they're 3D. One time there was a serpent looking like it was coming out of the pavement.
Oh, wow.
And the artist we had last year, she had a ballerina that if you didn't stand in the right place, the features did not coincide with a normal human being, but you had to stand perfectly in the correct place so that you would get the 3D view of the picture. Yeah. I believe there's a commercial on TV where you see the one gentleman, he's standing, it looks like he's standing on a piece of rock where the rest of the area had caved in, or surfing, or things like that. So they've incorporated some of that even in commercials, where this started in Italy. So you have a few of those festivals throughout the state.
Well, and I was, during my governorship, you were kind enough as a club, along with the Stafford, to invite me to the opening of that festival last year, and it was just terrific. Now, what are some of the projects you do as a result of the funds that you raise?
Well, right now we're gearing up for Flags for Heroes. I know I've talked with some other Rotary clubs that they're doing the same thing, where we attract sponsors. We meet at the, we have Rotarians who volunteer at the local farmers markets, or when there's programs and festivals, Earth Day, things like that. And we try to get sponsorships for flags. And we have all the flags for the military armed forces. And we've also ordered Space Force flags. This year we'll have those.
Oh, wow.
Flag. And then people are a sponsor and donate. It's a minimum of $25 per flag, and they donate that amount, and it's for a particular veteran. Last year, I did it for my brother, my father, my husband, and a friend whose father was a Marine as well. And so this year, I'll add my son, who is in Okinawa right now.
Oh,
so
wow.
we have a couple different Marine Corps and Army veterans in the family.
Well, listen, thank you very much for the service of those that were in the military, but additionally their families. Families serve, as well as those that are directly in the military, and we really appreciate that. I think this is a good point where I'm going to hold you up, because we are going to take a short break and be right back and speak more with President Andrea. Please stay with us.
Possibilities are all around us. We see potential in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action in communities all around the world. Together, we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved at Rotary.org.
Welcome back to Rotary Times. We are here speaking with Rotarian Andrea, the current president of the Rotary Club of North Stafford, Virginia, for the 2022-2023 Rotary year. Well, you have really given us a great profile in terms of your club and some of the dynamics of it. And one of the things I wanted to ask you is, as a result of the pandemic, you know, what changes have you seen in your community, and how has that influenced you in the way that you approach service projects, for instance, community assessment, etc.?
Well, what we have seen is that a lot of people may still be COVID averse, where they have concerns with being in public, or if you have a cough, or you maybe have the sniffles. So what we've offered is the ability to have a hybrid meeting. So we have the items that we can use to have a hybrid meeting. So if somebody is out of town, we happen to have one person who is relocating to Florida, but while he was in Florida, he was able to Zoom in, and we were able to meet and still be functioning as a unit. Right. So whenever anybody has the opportunity to Zoom in and not have the opportunity to meet physically, then we offer that up. We haven't currently had that as an option automatically, because we are a small club right now, but we are in contact with each other since we're about 13, 14 of us right now. So it's been a little bit easier to get together and meet. And by relocating our meeting to Tuesday evenings, we will be increasing the membership at present at the meeting to about 2 more versus 2 less than we had. So we're trying to look at ways to accommodate all of our members and work on projects that they would be interested in. So when I took over, we were discussing where we were going to go and how we were going to move forward. And I said, this is us, we. So it's a collaboration for everybody. What do they want to do? Where do we want to go on working with a district grant, who we want to support, And
Right.
so some of the fundraisers that we were working on there's a few of them that are on our own,
Uh-huh.
that Flags for Heroes and the turkeys at the holidays for the local food bank, which is Serve, which they also can obtain some items from the Fredericksburg Food Bank, which is the main one
Uh-huh.
that services a lot of the pantries in the area. But we're looking ways that we want to keep everybody engaged. Sometimes during the holidays and wintertime, it's easy to not want to get out when the weather is bad. So we're trying to do things where we can be outside or do a project that we can focus on that we're able to do during a meeting,
Now
so that
you
everybody can be engaged and be included in that.
right, and you've given us two excellent examples. A, using Zoom as a flexible tool to support your club, to support the people in your club, so that, as you say, you can stay as a cohesive working team together. I think that's just great. And then additionally, in the way that you approach your service projects, that is really helpful. I'd like to ask you, so is your family involved in supporting you at Rotary? And if so, do they go to service projects, or how do they get involved?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm currently retired. I actually retired pre-COVID,
Uh-huh.
which kind of worked out. My parents live with us, so we are very much involved when for the last 2 years, when our club was the primary committee chair for Via Calori, we provided our camper to be on site
Oh.
overnight, and my husband, who has been in law enforcement and works for the Department of Energy, was there as security, and we stayed in the camper overnight throughout the weekend. Also providing the golf cart around so that when there were people who weren't able to walk the distance, which wasn't very far, but everybody has different mobility issues.
Sure.
My mother has, I call them two fake knees, so sometimes it's a little difficult to navigate the curbs and things like that. So I would run around the parking lot and pick up people who had mobility issues, or if I saw that they were with a cane, said, here is your private transport, and I would take them around and meet with their family. Or in one case, there was a young boy, I think about 10 years old, and he was very upset and crying and worried about his grandmother. And I remember when mine were younger trying to find out, well, what does she look like? What color's her hair? What is she wearing? And the descriptions from a young child is a little different.
Yes.
And so I said, well, there's nowhere she can go because there's only one entrance in and one entrance out. So we'll see her. So I picked him up, and another gentleman who was with me in the golf cart, we were talking to him and hugging him and letting him know that we got you. There's no way you're going to miss your grandmother. Her car was still there. And so we drove around, and she was actually at the information booth waiting for him.
Oh,
And with the dog, because he was more worried about his grandmother and his dog than I think she might have been about the child. So
well,
it was
these are
good
great.
to see that.
Yeah, and these are great examples, again, of what you pointed out earlier, engagement. That members need to be engaged, but clubs need to engage their members. So in that context, I'd ask you, how do you see your club beginning their outreach to prospect? And once people are being brought into the club, how exactly do you bring them into engagement?
Well, there's several ways. You can invite them as speakers. I actually had a friend that I went to his wife's surprise birthday party, and we started talking Rotary. And so he was actually a speaker at the beginning of April. And without doing our fireside chat and talking with him and meeting with him afterwards one-on-one, he said, how do I sign up? How much money you need? I'm there. And I said, well, there's a few things we want to do before you're officially a member, but I think through basically it's more networking. You invite speakers, or you have friends who are interested in participating in community service events. Another thing that I was talking with the incoming Stafford Rotary president, in my 13 years working in Stafford County and working closely with the Board of Supervisors and the Planning Commissioners, I honestly don't recall a Rotary Club coming to the board meetings and say, here we are, we're here to work in the community,
Right.
provide our service for the community and what the community needs, other than, having the proclamation for Polio Day
Right.
and Polio Plus and things like that. So we are looking to engage with the Board of Supervisors and letting them know that we've got 2 Rotary clubs here. We're eager to participate in the community, help any way we can, look at areas in need, and we are actually working on doing some more community assessments and updating any of our bylaws and constitution and things like that, because some of them haven't really been updated maybe since pre-COVID. So
Okay.
looking at a lot of those things.
Yes.
CPET's actually given me a lot of insight
Right.
into what I need to start looking at
Right.
and bringing that to the club.
Yes, I think a lot of clubs really need to take that review and give themselves more flexibility than originally created in the traditional Rotary Club bylaws, if you will, because times change. Now, once you have somebody interested and you're bringing them in, do you assign them to a service project, ask them? How do you approach that?
Well, once they're included in our club and they're coming to the meetings, we work with them and engage them and educate them. We want to provide more education for those who maybe don't know as much Rotary as some of our members who might be 31 years into Rotary, where they started in Interact, Rotaract, received scholarships all the way up. So that will also help me to be more knowledgeable, because I've only been a member since 2019, late 2018 to 2019 when I started.
Right.
So we want to include them in the service project. We try to say that, for instance, at the last board meeting 2 weeks ago, there's an Earth Day project if you want to participate in, to promote Via Colari, to promote Flags for Heroes.
Right.
Also, there is a social tea where another member who is a restaurant owner has been doing this for a long time, and we would go to a senior citizen organization and provide food and drink, and it would be their social tea event that they do, and we decided as a board that we would do that once per quarter, so that we would participate with the elderly. And then at one point in the tenure that when I was as I've been a Rotarian, we've read books to children. So we try to expand our service projects to working with children and our age, ranging from, maybe post-college to retirement, pre-retirement, and even the senior citizens. So we're trying to look at everything that's out there. A lot of the communities are actually located in the city of Fredericksburg, but we do have some in Stafford County that I know of because of having been a local government employee for 13 years, even though I lived in another locality.
Well, what is your favorite project, if you can sum that up for us quickly?
I think I really enjoyed the Via Colari project. That's the one that I participated the most in the last 2 years. With that, you're with the public. I always enjoyed being with the public, from when my parents had a restaurant to working in local government for over 35 years. So being around the public and making sure that when they leave they have a smile on their face. So also remembering what the needs are of the public. If a child is there and you can tell that, oh, maybe they need a drink, or when I was in the restaurant, oh, I know they need napkins and a straw. And you try to think of things that they need before they really ask you.
Right.
And it's not to, it's basically to try to think of what they need and be there for them before they think they need something, so that you have somebody in the background, oh, thank you. I didn't know that you were there, and you provided them with things that they need. I
Well,
would drive around
thank
in the
you.
golf cart at that event and provide water to everybody, even if they had it. Or say, are you okay? What do you need?
I need to stop you there because we're running out of time. But thank you so much for your message of engagement, service, and appreciate you stepping up for leadership, Andrea. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. For the Rotary Times program, I am your host, past District Governor Paporowski from the Rotary Club of Bailey's Crossroads, Virginia. You are welcome to join us at a Rotary Club in your area for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or service project. You can find a club near you by looking us up on the internet. Many clubs are hosting meetings that are in person, virtual, or in some form of hybrid format. You only need to look up the details. Remember, our time is your time, and together it is time well spent. Please join us for our next program as we continue to celebrate Rotary's 117 years of service above self.